Fingers. So Pinocchio, the original movie, the animated film, all the way back in 1940. And the reason why we're doing this movie is because the remake just came out. Oh, hey, just in time. Hey, how's it going there, Nick? And the remake just came out the 2022 version of it, starring Tom Hanks, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Cynthia Erivo, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, and Keegan-Michael Key. And so I had never seen the original movie before. And after seeing the remake, I was like, well, hey, I got Disney Plus anyway, might as well check it out. And I know Ginny, when I put out on Twitter, I was like, well, I'm watching this. What do you all think of it, the 2022 version? And she was kind of like, yeah, she was kind of, seemed like she wasn't very pleased with the movie.
Pretty sure she just sent a picture of that soulless CGI monstrosity that is somehow more terrifying than the Chucky doll, looking at a literal piece of shit.
Yeah, that was basically
just like the second shot that Disney has done, because the first one was the Lion King with that dung beetle, right? And has like this group shot in there. And I had like no reason why they included that, and now like they did it again with Pinocchio. Like I think they're like trying to say something in here. Like our remakes suck.
Yeah.
Hey, I would say it's a cry for help, but Robert Zemeckis has made too many of these CGI, horrific-looking CGI films to have me believe that.
Yeah. So it's nice to kind of be able to go back and kind of look at the original film because it is a classic. It's considered one of the greatest animated films of all time. A staple of Disney and the golden kind of era they kind of did back in the day amongst their films. Ginny, if you want to give kind of some of your brief thoughts on the 2022 version and kind of, what did you kind of think about that, to kind of get some general thoughts on that?
Well, I think the huge problem with the 2022 version is just like there's not a lot of soul put into it, because in the first Pinocchio, it was like a lot of heart and emotions put into the story, because like a lot of the things, whether it be surreal, it will still gravitate you to how like the journey and the experience that Pinocchio is seeing, and then it's just there's nothing much there in the remake. It's just like they do like the plot points, like the similar plot points, but not like the emotion just like deliver. It's like not enough impact to really gravitate you and to like really be invested in Pinocchio's journey.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how we felt about it, me and Nick. Just it's not a lot of soul to it, not a lot of heart to it. Didn't really. I mean, there really wasn't much of a journey to the movie, since, I mean, spoiler alert, I mean, he doesn't even turn into a
real fucking boy at the end.
Yeah, okay, well, like a lot of people hate it, but I think I'm kind of on the fence, because I would appreciate if they do like a redo, or pretty much give a different but still a hopeful message that, oh, you don't have to be a real boy to to be good and all that. But they kind of like try to mix the messages in, because like there's even a shot where like his legs are becoming like humans. So like what are you trying to like convey here? Because like aren't you like saying, don't you want to become yourself? You don't have to be like a real boy to be good. And it's it's a bit confusing.
Yeah. And with this 1940 version, is it one of the kind of your favorite animated movies of all time?
It's well, not exactly my favorite, but it's the one that stuck to me the most. Like the thing with Pinocchio being such a memorable movie is just like the imagery and like the emotions that really brought into the movie. And I think for me, I call it like it really haunted me back when I was a kid. It's a lot of the scenes and like the things that happen. It's like not a lot of kids movies do that anymore, and they don't really sugarcoat like some of like the dire consequences that happen to a lot of the characters there.
Yeah. So kind of going back, watching this movie, I'd say the animation still really holds up very well for a movie all the way made back in 1940. That's really pretty impressive how it still can be shown today, and there's kind of no issues with that. Also, seeing kind of Pinocchio go on this journey, you do really get a sense of that and feel for that, of him learning what it means to be a real boy, and you get that heart of it. And also really some great, vocal performances, singing songs. Of course, Wish Upon a Star, classic song that you have in this. And some of the humor works really well. Like some of the stuff with Jiminy Cricket works really well. I thought was really good, and it works really well done. Like the scenes where, he goes into Geppetto's house, and you see kind of all like he's got these cuckoo clocks that is all on the wall, and they're just making a bunch of noise, and he tells them, to shut the hell up. Is
like his eyes are just moving the same as the clocks do.
I thought that stuff was like really well done, and the stuff with the animals that you see, like when he, Geppetto has the same like little kitty that he has that you saw in the remake. This time it doesn't look as creepy as it did in the 2022 version. Well, that looked very kind of disturbing. Like this, this kitty has like real kind of emotion, because that's what you could do more in an animated movie, and you try to make it realistic. Yeah. Well, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, Legion? Oh
no, like I was I was saying like I don't know, understand why they like made like a CGI cat if they can just like bring in a real cat and just kind of like redo or retouch some of the make it a bit more emotional. But yeah, it's kind of weird that they made it completely CGI with Figaro.
Yeah. What kind of
Robert Zemeckis said fuck it and make just CGI people.
Oh,
long time ago.
Polar Express.
You think he's gonna stop at animals?
Yeah. I forgot Tom Hanks was in there too. Hey, Tom Hanks, he's carrying over, from that. Yeah. Man, Tom Hanks has to stop doing movies with Robert Zemeckis.
Is somehow just as lifeless in this as he is in the Polar Express.
Ginny, is there anything like you think is an improvement with the remake compared to the original movie?
I actually think, since we rag on like Zemeckis' visuals and the graphics, from Polar Express and other his past movies, I think the animation there was more of an improvement, so to say. Is I think like the best design was probably Honest John, to me. Yeah, and I think with Pinocchio, like at least they could capture some of like the emotions that he's portraying in some of the scenes. I can tell like he's like feeling uncomfortable, especially that scene during Pleasure Island, where he's not like feeling with with the kids doing a lot of bad stuff, and he's like, yeah, no, I don't think this is right at all. So yeah.
Nice. Me and Nick, when we saw it, we kind of talked about how the character of the ballerina was kind of a nice addition to the movie. How did you feel about the ballerina character in the remake?
I really like her. She's a really cute character, and I like how she's able to interact with Pinocchio from the time when he was locked in by Stromboli, and so he couldn't really trust humans that much. So I like the way how she interacted with him. It's just like bringing down her puppet to talk with him. Just really adorable.
Yeah. So I thought those kind of some of the slight things I kind of liked about the remake was the character of the ballerina. I thought she was really good, and like you said, how he was able to interact with the puppet because he only trusted the puppet. I thought that was a nice little touch.
Yeah, I think it would. Sorry to interrupt, but I think it also like makes like the trauma with him getting locked up by Stromboli less, less scary or less painful, because back in the 40s he didn't have anyone but Jiminy Cricket. But in here, at least, he was able to be more comforted to by the girl and her puppet. So I think it's a really nice touch. It really gives more hope with Pinocchio.
Yeah. But like you mentioned with the original movie, it didn't really kind of sugarcoat things too much about kind of some of the dark realities, like what was going on when he went to Pleasure Island, and then when the kids, turned into
those kids were smoking, they were drinking.
Yeah.
Here they have a pint of this root beer.
No, this is actual like hard liquor and all that.
They were drinking.
I mean, they were
even like that the statue of like them like throwing out like the cigars with like the indigenous person. It's like, oh man.
Yeah, which kind of has aged horribly and is like even weirder in the movie, because you have a grown ass man taking a bunch of children to a small island called Pleasure Island. Pretty sure he just bought it from Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, yeah, most likely.
I mean, yeah, some of that stuff doesn't play all that well today. I mean, that's what kind of happens, kind of in an older movie, kind of like this, kind of coming up. And
just have Luke Evans taking all these kids to Pleasure Island.
but I mean, did you think that also with like Joseph Gordon-Levitt's performance as like Jiminy Cricket, we talked about like Luke Evans kind of in the movie and some of these other kind of characters replacing kind of legendary classic characters. Did you think you were impressed by him at all playing Jiminy Cricket? Because I couldn't tell that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt at all, really.
Yeah, I couldn't either. I knew it was Joseph Gordon-Levitt voicing Jiminy, but yeah, I really couldn't tell by his voice. So I think he really did a good job, I guess, impersonating Cliff. What's the original Jiminy Cricket? Cliff Evans or Cliff Richards? Oh. But yeah, I think he really pulled that off pretty well.
Yeah, Cliff Edwards is the original Jimmy Cricket.
Cliff Edwards. Oh, well, I'm wrong with the last name.
Yeah. And Jenny, with you, what do you think kind of really makes the 1940 version such a classic as it is? Like, what do you think kind of really is great there?
In addition to what I said about like it being an emotional journey, like you really like get give a lot of sympathy and like really feel a lot with Pinocchio's journey. I also think it's like another classic example of that Joseph Campbell's idea of a hero's journey. It's like a very an age-old formula of like a hero being sent on a quest to achieve some sort of goal, whether it be like fighting defeating a bad guy or finding one's true self at the end. And how like he goes through a lot of like obstacles and trying to test his morality. Really really delivered that, as well as him trying to pull up and trying to be become a better in order to become a real boy, and seeing all the struggles that he has some journey through, like from Pleasure Island and being conned by Honest John, and at the final stage with him trying to escape from Monstro and trying to save his family. It's really heartfelt and really gives like a powerful message of what it means to being a good person all throughout.
Nice. And with either you guys, Nick or Chris, have you ever seen the original Pinocchio? And kind of what are your thoughts a little bit about it?
It's been a very long time since I've seen the original Pinocchio, so that's pretty much most of my recent knowledge comes from the 2022 movie, which horrified me to my core. Just looking at the dead, lifeless eyes of that horrific monstrosity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw the original animated film. I agree that the 2D hand-drawn animation style does hold up. I think they all hold up. The Aristocats, Robin Hood. To this day, I still enjoy those movies. And something about the whale scene, being swallowed by the whale, seeing it splash around in the ocean, that was always memorable for me as a kid. I found it a little scary, but yeah, I didn't see the remake, but I do enjoy the original one for sure.
Yeah, that
You're
monster
not missing
sequence was
anything.
terrifying. Yeah, no, the monster sequence was terrifying because like you try to hear him roar, and like when they're trying to put out the fire to make him sneeze them out. That was it was really noisy, like one of the noisiest things I've heard when I was a kid, and like him like chasing Pinocchio in the sea, and then like him like coming right near you, or like approaching you. Like it was like pretty scary. Like I wanted to run away when I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
How was the donkey transformation scene? Was it horrifying?
Horrifying with the graphics, because yeah, no, I felt nothing, because like one of the most like the most like terrifying scenes from that was like the transformation of Lampwick becoming a donkey, and yeah, like it didn't hold up. Like I felt nothing. I didn't feel sympathy or being terrified of him transforming. Is like nothing, because yeah, like how in the original, like you were like scared of this him, because like you can see like the shot of his hands morphing into hooves, like that really scared me to the core when I was a kid. And with how the Lamprick in the remake transformed, it was kind of goofy. It was like it was kind of like him popping like fur and like like a new head and all that, and not even like when him calling out for his mom, that like I felt nothing about it, and it's just like it went by quick.
Yeah, by the
Yeah,
time that happened, I was already like, fuck these kids.
I just remember in the original animated film the image of like their shadow on the wall and seeing the transformation through their silhouette. That was intense. Like seeing these small
Yeah.
children like kind of moving in pain while their bodies morph. That was scary as a kid, but
Yeah.
Mm.
it sounds kind of funny in the live action version.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not.
The impact just isn't there, I don't think, in the live action
Yeah.
version. And that's what kind of is the distinct difference, I think, for me between this version, the 1940 versus the 2022 version. It's just the impact. It just isn't there. You don't really, I don't think, feel much for kind of anything that's really happening or what's kind of going on screen. I think that's kind of, and that's the way it kind of feels like with a lot of these remakes. I think it's a lot of people, what people talk about with a lot of these Disney remakes. It's just that it takes all the gut, all the soul out of them when in reference to like The Lion King or Beauty and the Beast or Cinderella. And the only one of these remakes I've liked is Jungle Book. I thought Jungle Book was the only one I've liked of them so far.
I also like Cruella. I think it's my like guilty, like campy guilty pleasure because I love like the beef like going between Cruella and the Duchess, and I love like the settings and the fashion and the music.
I like
surrounding it.
I like that they legitimately gave her a Batman origin for why she hates Dalmatians.
I mean, it's like Batman and Joker pretty much is like what that movie is pretty much.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, Cruella. I think we kind of slightly enjoy Cruella.
Yeah, I dug the hell out of Cruella. It's one of my like comfort movies at this point.
Oh yeah, same here.
So I think that's kind of what kind of is one of the big distinct differences there between these two things. But like I said, the animation is great. I mean, it's so expressive in the way that's something you just maybe you could do in maybe a live action remake or with kind of CGI. But with the animation, seeing all these kind of different things and seeing, like I said, the cuckoo clocks, like seeing Geppetto's house is really great. And then when they're at the sea and they're getting swallowed by the monster, that looks really awesome. And when they're kind of pedaling, kind of swimming away, paddling away, trying to avoid getting eaten, that's really great. And when they go to Pleasure Island and see all the kind of these kids, and like what Chris mentioned about the donkey scene, where you see the shadows and you see that first like a shadow that you see them what they're turning into, that's really well done. So the way they're kind of able to kind of play with a lot of those shots is very excellent, and so very expressive, that it makes it fun to watch. And like I said, it's also a shorter movie too than the 2022 movie as well. It's only that quick hour and 30 minutes that you can just kind of watch real quick, and enjoy it. And I mean, Ginny, to kind of get your opinion, why do you think these Disney remakes are so successful when a lot of them are beat for beat the same movie as the animated movie?
Yeah, I think as someone pointed out, is that I think they want to like see it remade into like how it looks like if it's like live action. I think that's what I think they're really more keen on, is seeing like the visuals and how it looks like in real life, so to say. And I think that's pretty much it. And then like other than like being nostalgic for the story, which is kind of ironic because like nothing of like the emotional beats like really resonated for in the remakes. A lot of them are. So, but it's pretty much it. It's like all for like more of like a shallow reasons to want to go see like the remakes.
Yeah. Have you seen most of them or all of them or? Oh, Ginny, there. Have you seen?
Sorry, yeah, you were kind of cutting out. So what was the question again?
Oh, sorry about that. I said, have you seen most of them or all of them or?
A lot of them, like like some of the major movies, like Mulan, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. Haven't seen Pete's Dragon. I heard like it's kind of an underrated movie, but yeah, I think I've seen a lot of them.
And would you say Pinocchio 2022 is the worst one?
I would put it in the bottom tier because I think the movie did hurt me as much as like Mulan, which is one of my favorite movies. So I think the favorite movie in the Disney collection. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's really in the bottom tier, Disney remakes.
Yeah. Chris, why do you think these Disney remakes are so successful? What about you? What do you think?
They are marketing and selling to millennials because of nostalgia. They know where we were kids when the animated films came out during the Disney Renaissance of the 90s, and we're adults now. We're all in our 20s and 30s. They know if they make it, we will come. So that's why Aladdin, Lion King, Jungle Book, they've all made billions of dollars. They all cracked $1 million, which is the goal nowadays. But but yeah. Besides, Lion King was beat for beat. Beauty and the Beast and Aladdin, they tried to add new things. Like they both give backstory on Belle's mom and Jasmine's mom.
And also a superfluous song that does nothing to add to the story and is just there to pad the runtime.
Yeah, just to give her a solo because she's a Disney princess, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's just nostalgia and intrigue. It's always cool, the idea of a live action version of your favorite cartoon. So I think nostalgia and intrigue is what makes these Disney remakes so successful.
And it's kind of interesting that you kind of made the same point that we did when we were talking about this last week, where a lot of the more successful live action remakes were stuff that came out like during the 90s when like the millennials were little kids, stuff like Lion King, like Beauty and the Beast, Mulan, Aladdin. Whereas some of the remakes of older stuff like Dumbo and, well, fucking Dumbo bombed horrifically.
Yeah.
I don't. Has anyone seen the live action Lady and the Tramp on Disney Plus?
Oh no,
No.
I tried to like watch it, but I kind of stopped and did something else.
Yeah.
That CG on them dogs was giving me PCSD, post cat stress disorder.
Oh no.
Oh man. Yeah, and then Peach Dragon. I don't think that did that well. I don't think in the box office.
You
I haven't seen it.
know, but yeah, people said that they really liked it, and they were kind of like disheartened why it didn't do so well in the box office.
Yeah, I don't think that did very well. And I think that movie came out when did Peach Dragon come out originally? Like 80s?
The 70s.
70s?
70s-ish?
I want to say 70s. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Around the same time as like Stone and Arrested Cats, Robin Hood in the 70s.
70s, yeah. Yeah, and the next one is coming up is Little Mermaid. That's the next one, right? Little Mermaid, right?
Yeah.
Little Mermaid, yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, that's the next one kind of coming up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe. I don't know.
I hope.
I hope so.
Knock
Just
on
so
wood.
like gives the racists like something to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. The girl's got a good voice. Girl's got
Cry, racists.
Yeah.
Cry. It gives me life.
Yeah. I like the girl's voice a lot. Jenny, so what would be your final thoughts and rating for 1940 Pinocchio?
1940, a classic Disney movie that a lot of people all ages should see and should like experience, same as I have. But yeah, it's like one of the most memorable movies, and like that really puts like being a staple of the Disney like company as a whole, because they put that song "When You Wish Upon a Star" as the theme song in the opening for Disney, and pretty much gave it like such an impact for like animations and movies, and it's like really like one of the most inspiring things that you have to see once in your life. So I would give it a 10 out of 10.
Wow. I think on our scale is this is cinema, right? 10 out of 10, right?
This is cinema.
Yeah.
This
on our
is
scale.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is like peak cinema.
Yeah, peak. I mean, yeah, it is. Pinocchio was revolutionary. It's a revolutionary movie.
This is cinema.
Yeah. Changed the game for movies, animation, everything like that. So, thank you very much, Jenny. Oh, what would you give 2022 Pinocchio?
What is your title for a low rating?
The lowest is waste of fucking film.
Yeah, that's our lowest rating.
After that, it's skip it, then tune out, then stream it.
We also have a burn
pretty
it.
much like skip it. At least with the remake, it was only on Disney Plus and not in the movies or in theaters. I think skip it is most likely like the thing I would give the 2022 version.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say 1940 Pinocchio for me. Yeah, this is cinema. I mean, you got to. I mean, it's a classic. I think in every sense of the word. I think you have to give it that of how influential it was. Ginny, where can people find you? Where can people find the podcast and kind of do all that?
Yeah, so you can find me at Ginny Liano on Facebook at GINNYLEANO. You can find some of my design pages. So on Instagram at Ginny Designs, Facebook at Ginny Liano Designs, and you can also find my podcast, the Noonas Podcast, on SoundCloud, Facebook, and Twitter and Instagram at Noonas_podcast. That's NOONAS_podcast.
Nice. I will make sure to put your links in the description below. And Jenny, she was the one that did the emotes for us. She did the emotes for us on our Twitch chat that you all can check out. Nick's hair. She made an emo for his hair. Made an emo for Bubbles.
That's my ever-changing hair.
Yeah, made a cool emo for Bubbles and everything. So thank you, Jenny. Thank you for coming by. Thank you for all your kind of hard work helping us and everything like that. Much appreciated.
Thanks so much, and glad to be here once again. Good to see you guys again.
Yeah,
nice meeting you, Jenny.
It's nice,
nice meeting you
nice
too,
seeing
Chris.
you again, Jenny.
All right.
Right.
Take care, Jenny. Have a good night.
Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.
All right. That was Jenny helping us do Pinocchio.